So is your supply chain sick? How do you know? Sometimes you can't tell. And that's what we're going to talk about this week. So sometimes your supply chain can be a little bit sick and you're not aware of it, or you're not aware of the cause of it. I mean, there's obvious things like you can see costs are going up and you can see services being impacted, but a supply chain, like I was sort of trying to illustrate earlier, is a little bit like the human body. Sometimes there are things that are going wrong inside your supply chain that you're totally unaware of, and you become aware of them kind of when it's a bit too late, when your supply chain's really sick, or you see things going wrong in the supply chain, but you're really not sure what's causing them. So what I thought was this week, I'll just share a few thoughts on some diagnostics, if you like, that you could do to check out to see if your supply chain is healthy or not. First thing I would say is that a lot of the companies I work with have a kind of gut feel that there's something wrong in the supply chain, and they're usually right if they're experienced supply chain managers. They'll see costs going up or customer service falling or something like that. So they know there's something wrong, but they're very often not quite sure what the cause is. And if you're not sure, you can end up trying to fix the wrong thing. So, the doctor analogy kind of stacks up there. If we try and self-treat ourselves, we can often make it worse. So what are some of the things to have a look at? Look, I suppose in 25 years of looking at different businesses and things wrong in their supply chains, I would suggest one to look at is certainly inventory. Poor inventory management can play havoc with a supply chain. It could be down to poor forecasting, it could be down to poor replenishment, but invariably what you end up with is way too much of some stock, not enough of the other. You end up blowing out your warehouse capacity and so on. So inventory is certainly one area that I would look at it in detail. Look at the sort of A, B, and C groups first. Try to identify particular product families or groups of products that might be causing the issues, whether that be in stock outs or excess inventory. So a very good place to start. My favorite topic, of course, is customer and product profitability. Most reporting systems don't help you with this, so this one's very hard to actually diagnose until you get in and do some analysis. But the symptoms of this will very often be lots of small orders, so which you may not really have a handle on the profitability of. Maybe lots of remote customers ordering very small orders. Very broad, different customer profiles. So you've got big customers ordering by the truckload, and then lots of little customers ordering, very very small sort of one-line orders. That's a little bit of a sign that there could be some problems there. Looking at the sort of 80-20 of sales, if you've got a very extreme Pareto, you know how normally 80% of your sales will come from 20% of your products. If you don't have that, let's say 90% of your sales are coming from 10% of your products, what that can indicate is you've got a very long tail of slow-moving products. So that's a little bit of a warning for very high cost to serve or poor profitability. Warehouse productivity is a good one. And again, this can be a bit of an issue that's lurking there that a lot of people aren't aware of. So maybe try and get hold of some benchmarks on things like picking productivity, on picking accuracy particularly. And of course, inventory record accuracy plays into that as well. So we're coming back to the inventory question. If people are going to pick slots to pick product and it's not there, is it inventory accuracy? Is it poor reporting of stock outs and things like that? So that's a good one to look at. We better mention freight rates and costs. So the two different things, of course, you've got the freight rate, which is maybe how much you're paying per ton, per pallet, per carton, per delivery, per truckload. And then you've got your overall freight costs. So one of the symptoms that people will often see is a rising cost of freight, particularly customer freight going out to customers. That can be a little bit of an indication of something going wrong there. And the things to look at are very often not the rate per se. Whether you're paying $20 a ton or $25 a ton, transport, freight operations are very competitive. So it's unlikely that you're paying way over the top on a particular unit cost. What's more likely is that you're paying the wrong type of rate. So maybe you're paying a pallet rate when it actually should be a pallet space rate or a ton rate or a unit, some other kind of unit rate. So have a look at that and see what's most appropriate for your product type. So that's often an area. And also the service level. So, you might be paying for express freight when you actually don't need express freight. So freight is a really good one to look at. Network flows, we talk about that quite a bit on this channel. So how is your product flowing through your distribution network? Are there multiple touches? Are the products deployed well through your network? So, things like full range distribution centers versus part range, where maybe they're only holding the fast movers and that type of thing. So how your stock is deployed through your network and flows through the network is very important. And probably one of the most important ones I would look at is planning. Your demand planning, your supply planning, then we're getting into the whole sort of sales and operations planning process. That can often be an area where there's lots of issues, and you've got to peel back a few layers of the onion to see what's happening there. So yeah, maybe it's time for a health check of your supply chain. There's a few ideas to have a look at. If you're a supply chain manager in a sizable business and you'd like some help with this, I'll put a link down below. You can click on that and you can have a look at some of our diagnostic services at Logistics Bureau, which is my day job, and you can get in touch with me there as well. But have a look at your supply chain. Is it sick? Maybe you're not aware. Or are you seeing some of the symptoms and you're not quite sure what the cause is? Hopefully this video has given you a few tips. Thanks for watching and see you next week.